consciousazine.com Chronicles. Okay, hi guys, it's Benjamin Kallenberg here from www.consciousazine.com. Today we're doing an anti-addiction video, and you know, I found some really good pictures from Ray Thorpe here, has put this together from Yukai Happy High Herbs, and it's based also on David Hoffman research, medical herbalism, the science and practice of herbal medicine, and also planetary herbology by Michelle Tierra, and put together by Ray. And there's some other links here by PubMed. So that's what this is all based on. Now let's not start with that. So we're going to start here at a sort of definition. The definition, a noun, addiction, the state of being enslaved to a habit or practice or to something that is psychologically or physically habit forming to such an extent that its cessation causes trauma. So when you stop it, it causes a lot of trauma. Yeah, look, a lot of things do that besides even just food, you know, not drugs even. So even foods. And luckily we've got a sugar slide in here as well by Dr. Gabor Mate, addiction expert. It is impossible to understand addiction without asking what relief the addict finds or hopes to find in the drug or the addictive behavior. Not all addictions are rooted in abuse or trauma, but I do believe they can all be traced to a painful experience. A hurt is at the center of all addictive behaviors. It is present in the gambler, the internet addict, the compulsive shopper, and the workaholic. The wound may not be as deep and the ache not as excruciating, and it may even be entirely hidden, but it's there. So that's his opinion on addictions. Yeah, look, to me, there's some hurt involved, but it may not necessarily be an entire reason you've got an addiction. You might have just stumbled onto something and then got addicted to it. So anyway, let's begin with alcohol, you know, because there is a cannabis addiction slide, and look, there's herbs to overcome the cravings, and healing herbs for the liver, and alternate tea herbs to help you get off it. Now, one thing I think we can put in all of the slides, in my opinion, is passion flower tea. So when it says here Gainema and Kudzu, and on every other slide add passion flower tea. In my opinion, it's one of the best ones. It's what Earth gave me in about 2012 when I started eating super healthy. Like I really, you know, got into superfoods, super herbs, and just everything health, just whatever system of health it was. And you know, I also started this $30 Bandit food plant teaching series, which I do when people donate to me, and sometimes I do my own videos as well, in 2013 and 2012ish. So I started back then as well. And look, one of the first things I did for my health was passion flower tea. It was just in there all the time, and I thought it was going to taste really nice. But I had like 20 different teas, sometimes 10 different teas, and it was always in there. And I thought it was making it taste nicer, but it turns out, like when I sorted through the teas, you know, individually more, it didn't really taste so special. And there was another one that I got it mixed up with that was actually the one making it taste better. I can't remember what that was now, but there was another tea that was making my tea bunch of teas, my shamanic tea bag, taste better, and I thought it was passion flower, but it wasn't, and so it was just slipped in there from the madre, or the earth, heavily guided, and yeah, so she slipped it in my drink for me. Thanks, Mum. And I think this is one of the best things in the world to stop. As David Wolfe, in later years, some 5 years later in 2015, I heard David Wolfe say passion flower stops deep-seated contraction cycles, and I thought that's a great way to say it. because that gives you the third dimensional connotation. Third dimensionally speaking, you know, a third dimension is a zonal reality in the 10 or 12th dimensional model of physical creation. Anyway, let's get into this. So, used to relax, improve mood, and break the habit. Kava, Piper mysticum, Damiana, and you can pause the tape and read all the rest. I'm just going to go over the actual herbs, I'm not going to read into everything. So Damiana, passion flower, there it is, Passiflora incarnata. Now, it doesn't always have to be a Passiflora. At first, before I worked on a passion fruit farm in 2015, I thought all passion fruits were like the genus Passiflora, but it's not like that. There's different ones out there. Yerba mate, yeah, it's big here in Uruguay. It does contain some caffeine. Look, I don't know, it's kind of switching addiction. I would stick with the passion flower more because it has no addictive quality and it just seems to dissipate all addictive connections and deep-seated contraction cycles. Damiana will like enhance your mood. Catnip, yeah, that can be a good one to disconnect things. Dandelion roots are also a lipotropic, anti-cancerous and stuff. I make a tincture out of dandelion. Burdock, another great one. Red clover's more for women, and Guyanema is more for women. Kudzu, I'm not too familiar with it. We're going to move on to the next. That's for alcohol addiction. This is for benzodiazepine addiction. Withdrawal from benzos can be extremely difficult and dangerous. Only reduce usage under supervision of a healthcare professional. So benzodiazepine addiction is a serious condition which requires dedication and willpower to overcome. Most importantly, the underlying issues which lead to BZD must be addressed, as all the addictions. So Malungu, Ethrina Malungu is a strong sedative. So yeah, that will be a good idea to put you on calmatives and sedatives from this type of addiction. Valerian, definitely. Passion flower again. Kava and Damiana will make you feel a bit better again. It's an aphrodisiac. And look, its scientific name is even Turnera aphrodisiaca. So there you go. Brahmi, yeah, so that's a good one. Bacopa. Also, Gotu Kola and Ginkgo biloba. They can help on your brain, and they'll get your brain better again. I actually make tincture with those, and yeah, those three are the best sort of brain herbs from like the Indian medicinal system too. Dandelion root again. Taking GABA supplements may reduce withdrawal effects. B-complex vitamin supplements as well as calcium, magnesium and phosphorus may also be helpful. Interesting. Not sure why they've said that. So for caffeine addiction, rubioice, roasted dandelion root, peppermint, and these are caffeine alternatives. And so I have a video on dandelion root instead of coffee seed or nut or bean. You put dandelion root in as your tea, and it has some caffeine, so it's a good way to get off the actual coffee caffeine. Coffee leaf, they're saying here. Yeah, well, let's get off coffee altogether and let's go with the dandelion root tea. That's what I'm going to tell you. So licorice, yep, agreed. Definitely it's going to be good for the adrenals, yes, to keep them sort of pepped up and reinitialize them and clean them back out. Actually, with licorice and rhodiola tinctures from Happy High Herbs Yukai, I actually healed myself one time. So thanks Phoenix and Ray for allowing Phoenix to sell his tinctures in the shop there. I healed myself from Ross River fever in 2 weeks. You know, you're meant to have that for weeks and months and months. With licorice and rhodiola tincture, I healed myself from Ross River fever, which I got in the banana field. I had like 1,000 mozzie cloud on me. Anyway, Romania, that's a good jing herb that's going to bring back your vibration, so that's a really good idea to have in there. Astragalus is a little bit similar. It'll help with your vibration again. And, well, so will licorice as well. Milk thistle, it's going to also clean out your liver as well. And in my opinion, if you're on coffee and coming off coffee, you're going to want to eat salads because you're going to want to re-alkaline your body because it's very acidic. And dandelion root's much less acidic, also much less caffeine. So that's why you should get straight on dandelion root if you're a coffee or caffeine addict. Now, I have seen caffeine addicts here in Uruguay off just not coffee but yerba mate. So, same thing, go on dandelion root. It's got a kind of calmative property about it as well, even though it has a little bit of caffeine. It's a manageable dose. Tulsi and skullcap and ginkgo again and brahmi, all good ideas. Drink lots of water. Yeah, look, like they say here, you need to add fiber, yeah, maybe, but it's really about getting your alkaline minerals back up in your body, your magnesium, your zinc, and your calcium, and obviously your B complexes to keep your energy up so you don't withdraw as hard. Let's go to cannabis. So if you really want to get off cannabis, even though, look, this is a special area. I'm not going to dick around here. I'm very familiar with cannabis, and in my opinion, it is my favorite herb in the world, even above tulsi and turmeric, and above all the other herbs, in my opinion. We've got something called the endocannabinoid system, which you really need to look deeply into, because it's kind of like a big hormonal system. It's similar to like having a hormonal system, a self-standing system, the endocannabinoid system. From cannabis, endocannabinoid sounds very similar, doesn't it? Because cannabis has cannabinoids in it, not endocannabinoids, but it has cannabinoids in it. Endo probably just means endogenous or something. But it's funny that it's either been part of our body for many thousands of years, or it's just meant to be with us. So I don't know what came first, the egg or the chicken. Did the endocannabinoid system come first, or did cannabis come first and create the endocannabinoid system? I'm not sure, and that's one thing I want to find out for sure. However, it's there and it is now, and what we're living in is the now, and it's going to be hard to get rid of a cannabinoid system in our body. So it's better to work alongside it. Cannabis is causing apoptosis, programmed cell death, anti-10 also from brain to foot cancer. It's, very anti-cancerous. It's got hundreds of phytocannabinoids or plant nutrients as well, so it's very nutritious. Look, cannabis can be talked about extensively, and I'm making hopefully a 10-hour video on that because I want to talk about it extensively, and I've got a big note on it in benznotes.weebly.com, and you can find that in consciousazine.com, my main tree website, but you can also look up Note 4 Cannabis in benznotes.weebly.com, and I've got many A4 pages on cannabis research, hundreds of peer-reviewed journal articles, etc. So I know all about cannabis, and in my opinion, it's not just about if you smoke it, for instance, it's not just about what negative effects it has on the body, releasing certain chemicals or something like that. That's negligible when we use it for the right use. What is the right use for cannabis? And how does that make negligible polluting your body? Divination. One word. Now, that word has a lot of meaning, and you really have to understand what's meant by divination. And it's a divining herb because it's a psychedelic. It's a plant or fungi hallucinogen, and it's a plant hallucinogen in this case, cannabis. And so it's very special. It's like ayahuasca and ibogaine. There's a note at the end, a slide on ibogaine and ayahuasca here, and that's because they're also you know they assist, like all other psychedelics, they can assist recovery from severe addictions, from alcohol to heroin and many other things. So that's the same thing with cannabis. It can help you do that. Now, it can help you treat more mental addiction, cannabis, really, more so than more physical things like, addicted to a substance. Cannabis is a sort of psychedelic, as all the other psychedelics as well, heal mental state. But cannabis is really just healing emotional mentality and showing you to yourself, like Bob Marley said. he quoted, you know, cannabis will show you to yourself. He said the herb, he meant cannabis, will show you to yourself. And I definitely agree. And so it's got to do with divination and coming into contact with your higher self, your light body, and much more noble and higher causes, you know, than worrying about a body. Because, you know, from a, let's call it Buddhist system, in my opinion, is a bodyist or bodyism system. That's what Buddhist stands for, in my opinion, the word. Buddhist stands for Buddhist or bodyist. They studied the body with their mind. And, you know, this is part of the light body studying the lower body, the physical, dense electrical body, and, you know, all the way to the post-threshold numinous light bodies, and so on. So this has got to do with divination, and so that's why I'm going past this. But if you really do want to quit it, where is it? There's a good one. Coltsfoot will help you quit cannabis, and there was another one. Mullion maybe yes, but there was another one. All of these will probably help, no doubt, and rhodiola for sure. Haven't tried lobiella, can't say. Skullcap and passion flower together will be a great help, or in tincture. Anyway, yeah, so there's coltsfoot, and then there was some other one with a C. It's another herb with a C, not catnip. They did sell it at their store, and I'm sure it was not coltsfoot. It was another herb with a C, not calendula. Anyway, so there's a good list to help you. Just drink a lot of water if you want to get on off cannabis, and what you want to do is keep busy, in my opinion, and that's going to be with all addictions as well. Again, you want to keep busy to keep your mind off thinking about your herb or your ice addiction or whatever. So passion flower for ice and amphetamine, mucuna pruriens, definitely, and that's the one that has L-dopa in it. And so it's going to be immediately beneficial to creating dopamine and that sort of sedative effect from dopamine that dopamine has. Kratom is another, yeah, that's kind of like a psychedelic but not a psychedelic. It's kind of, I haven't worked with kratom, so I don't want to talk about it too much. I don't think it induces too much psychedelia. I don't think it's an ordeal poison. I just can't remember what kratom is doing. I've forgotten. Anyway, ephedra, not sure about that one. It's restricted in Australia and USA anyway. Yerba mate, yeah, it might help with amphetamines to help on the switching and transition process, to give you some caffeine energy, to keep your energy up a bit so it's not too much of a cold turkey crazy hit of going from a lot of energy on the ice to nothing. Green tea, definitely teas, passion flower again, guarana, they've also put in for that reason of a bit of energy, I guess. And cola nut, yeah, I think I went through cola nut in a video recently. In jungle, Amazon jungle edibles too, I think, for Angie Om. Anyway, dandelion, yeah, notice dandelions in like all of the slides that they've made, and milk thistle. Now they're both for liver, for helping the liver recover. That's also, both of these are in a liver cleanse. You know, if you ever do a liver cleanse, they should be included, and also beetroot. Obviously beetroot for the methylation. Listen, they haven't put it here by the looks of it. They've just put oats. Oats is, yeah, going to withdraw stuff out of your system and can help in some other ways. But look, what I think they should have put in here was beetroot, because it's the best known source of methyl groups. And stage 1 liver detoxification is all about the methyl groups. And methylation is how your liver takes care of all the toxins that come through it. Some 80,000 new toxins since World War I. So for opiate addiction, wild lettuce, interesting. Kava again, malunga, again I don't know that one, but valerian definitely, and you can throw valerian in all of them probably, because it's a muscle relaxant and a really good sedative muscle relaxant, the valerian. Tastes like old socks, but it's alright. And you know, I used to have that in my tea with passion flower all the time. Ginkgo again, dandelion again, milk thistle, artichoke. These are for the liver, nerve and brain. And artichoke is also a little bit anti-arthritic and rheumatoidic, so it's going to stop that cramping. Oats to withdraw stuff out of your system, kind of like a diuretic. You could get on diuretics as well for any of these, like if you can find beautiful tea and you're not into all these bad tasting teas like valerian and you're like some younger person, you might want to get like hibiscus. That's what I made all of my teas taste good with. I'd mix it in with hibiscus and it tastes sweet. It's also a diuretic. Kratom again, California poppy. Yeah, California poppy does stop cravings. I took their tincture from Yukai Happy High Herbs actually, and I agree with that, definitely. And sugar addiction. Here we go, the big one. So, you know, a lot of people, I think this must be one of the biggest addictions on earth, apart from being addicted to safety, pain, other weird addictions that a lot of people seem to have. I think sugar is right up there in addictions than they are to cannabis, that's for sure. Now, yeah, if you're on cannabis, you can get low blood pressure and also low blood sugar. And so sometimes you'll find yourself wanting sugar. So it can, you know, one addiction can cause other addictions. So you do have to be careful with everything that's powerful. You know, it's said, you know, use everything in moderation. But yeah, there's some things that are very powerful and we need to be careful with them. So obviously stevia is the obvious alternative because it tastes like 200 times stronger. It's not 1,000 times, it's 200 times or something like that. Stronger than sugar. Fennel, yeah, it's a little bit sweet as well, and licorice can help. Great, yeah, they're great alternatives to the sweet side of it. And a little bit of honey maybe. You know, natural organic honey that hasn't been pasteurized or heated up. Again, gynema, which is a lot to do with ladies really, because gynostemma might be the more all-round one. Cinnamon, look, I eat that all the time for balancing my blood sugar, definitely recommend that. Myrrh is hardcore. I had a tincture of that once and it was from some health store and it was really intense. So yeah, look, sugar, just from my perspective, yeah, chromium is in the cinnamon, so you don't need to supplement with chromium because cinnamon is the highest chromium containing food. So you don't need to put extra chromium in your diet. So you just take cinnamon and, you know, get on these, definitely I agree. And yeah, a little bit of ginseng too. But, you know, really, it's just about watching your packaged goods intake and reading your labels with sugar and just not buying it, not buying the sweet, you know. Okay, so tobacco. They've recommended mugwort here, alternative smoking herbs, yeah. Cannabis could be an alternative. Passion flower again, definitely I'm always going to agree. And yeah, for smoking I would recommend ginseng's energy for sure. That feels really good for me if you're going to stop smoking. I've never smoked tobacco, but the ginseng energy goes really well with stopping smoking. I can just feel that. Mullein, definitely also with this. And elecampane, I used to have that in my tea. That's really good for healing your lungs. And as it says here, rejuvenates the lungs. And that really is like an expectorant for your lungs and will give you, like, your mucosa membrane will clean out your lungs with elecampane. And mucosa is one of your 4 humors, of your 4 humoral immune system. You also have a cell-mediated white blood cell immune system, but you also have something else, which is the humors: bile, blood, lymph, and phlegm. So elecampane will work with your bile a bit, but mainly your phlegm and your lymph a little bit. And it might even clean your blood, I'm not sure. So yeah, grounding, but you know, any of these addictions, you want to be stopping what you're doing cold turkey, or maybe you want to run it down slowly. In my opinion, you should basically cold turkey it, and what you need to do is then ground. For that whole week after, you need to be every day barefoot on the beach or in the forest, and you need to be grounding, getting negative electron cooling energy instead of this positively charged stress energy you're going to be carrying, which is like static confusion, going to make you want to go back to your addiction. All the pain will be associated with the positive particles, the positrons, so we need to get them off by grounding. Okay? So thanks for donating again, and thanks to Ray and Happy High Herbs for putting together these slides. You can just type in Happy High Herbs Yukai, and you can find the Steam Funk store, the Steam Funk Happy High Herbs store, and yeah, go from there. Check out what they have too. It's in my opinion, Happy High Herbs has done the best job of the apothecary on this planet at this time, 2017, because it is operating at maximum novelty, and the only store in the world that is operating at maximum novelty due to other health shops not being able to, due to psychedelics being banned illegal. Hence, when, you know, Happy High Herb stores are sneakily sometimes, I'm not saying the Yukai store, I'm not saying any particular stores, sometimes there were psychedelics sold, and, or not sold, they were, you know, they would help you with it. Pardon me. So for that reason, they were operating at maximum novelty. And they are the real apothecary. When you walk into their stores, one of my favourite one is the Yukai one, because they have a lot of tinctures and they have a lot of balms. They had Blue Lotus and hemp balm. I found that nowhere else. There's lots of little products I haven't found anywhere else in their stores. The Happy High Herb stores in Nimbin was another great store. So in my opinion, they're the only store operating at maximum novelty on the planet. Happy High Herbs, good store. I'm Benjamin Kallenberg from www.consciousazine.com. consciousazine.com Chronicles.